Okay, some of you guys are probably not even up yet. Because it is almost, it's like 2 minutes to 3 a.m. here. Actually, 1 minute, my bad. So I just finished cooking my collard greens for dinner tomorrow. So I'm up, like I'm up, but I really need to go to sleep. But this message came to me and I wanted to share it with you guys. As a disclaimer, I just want to give a full on disclaimer, you guys, that I'm at a place right now with my content where I just want to say this disclaimer real quick. I'm at a place with my channel where I cannot hold back. Like there's points where I'm like, Spirit, I don't want to say this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to, pull on this, or no, I'm not saying that. But I have to stop doing that. This Libra full moon really like did a number, like really got me like in a place where, hey Amber, because I have this Libra placement in my chart where my divine feminine energy, it has to honor itself, and it has to come correct, and people have to come correct as well, right? I have to honor that part of myself. So I've been silenced since I was a child, people that, mishandled my, mishandled me and my siblings and other, children in my family, where we had to kind of silence ourselves. So that was a thing, for a long, long time. So if you guys do not resonate with my channel, I would, want to say happy departure from the channel, because I have to be free to express myself, and I don't want to keep anybody, hold anybody. If it's not resonating with you, if I trigger you, if I irritate you, you're free to, remove yourself from my subscription. It won't bother me, because I want to have a space where I'm free to express myself comfortably and be embraced, if you resonate. And even if sometimes you don't, but it's a respect level there. You know what I mean? Because as adults, I feel like we don't always have to agree. I know sometimes my delivery comes off as a bit, crash, or a bit harsh at times. And I try to deliver it in a way that's digestible to you guys, to where you understand that I'm coming from a place of love, and it's not to demean anybody or to project that I have all of the answers, because that's foolish. I don't have all of the answers. I'm not perfect. My only inspiration on my channel is to help and encourage people to live a better life for themselves, but to start within self. Like that's my only motivation, is for people to love themselves and know that our journey is unique. It has its trials and tribulations. It has its ups and downs. We're never going to fully just have it figured out, or at least not all of the time. And this isn't a competition. Nobody's better than the other. But there's correction that comes with self-love and self-growth. And it's not always going to be something we want to hear. So sometimes it's harsh truths. Sometimes it is saying, there's things that I have to heal within myself. There's things with, people around me that I'm going to have to be honest about. I have to be honest with myself. So that leads me to the message that Spirit gave me, where I'm picking up this energy of, I'm getting a woman, a man and woman dynamic, a relationship, or it could be a situationship, or it could be like somebody you have feelings for. And this may not even just be a message for the viewer. It could be like someone around you is in this dilemma. And if so, I want to say respect where she's at with her journey, because we've probably all been there, where we love somebody or we loved a man so much that we kind of like accepted bullshit. We've accepted mistreatment. We've accepted half-assed effort in a relationship, or where we did all of the work, or where this person did not honor or cherish your relationship, or strung you along, and maybe you stuck it out for a long ride, and your friends or your family were telling you to leave that person alone. And allow that, if that is a family member or friend of yours that's in a situation, allow her to leave when she's ready. You know what I mean? If it gets to a place where it's dangerous, then, do what you guys have to do. But you can't force someone to leave a relationship when they're not ready, right? Or to see a man if she's not ready to see him. So if you're in this situation, I would want to tell you this. You can't love a man more than you love yourself. I feel like sometimes we, God, Lord, I have to be real. So the last reading I did, not the last reading, but it was one where I was talking about swarm, and I was talking about the male and the female collective. I was talking about the government stuff, indictments and stuff like that. But I have to be honest with this, because this is what is coming to me. Some of the viewers of that video did not like that video. One of the parts that probably triggered some of them was the fact that they're dealing with men that they know are not willing to change. No matter how much they've stuck it out, no matter how much they've tried to, breathe life into this man and encourage him, or try to prove that they're the good woman or they're the right woman for them, and this man will just not change, or they won't choose them. So it's kind of like a defeat type of feeling of, well, if we got to hold these men accountable, or I got to hold this man accountable, he's not getting the message, then maybe we're never going to be together. Probably not. Because the thing is this, a man is not going to change because someone else told him to change. He's going to change because he wants to change, which I feel like that goes for anybody, right? Any human being on this planet. If we want to better ourselves, we're going to better ourselves because we want to. Period. We can have people to inspire, to motivate, or encourage, but it's up to us to take that on and say, okay, I'm going to better myself for myself. And then probably my wife or my kids or my girlfriend, whatever, right? But to think that in spite of all of your efforts, why is this not working? Because they have to want to do that for themselves. And I know that can sound disheartening to a person that's putting all this effort into a person, or maybe you feel like within yourself this is the best that you can do. And another thing too is like, that would make you hold yourself accountable, because it's like the time and the effort that you put into this man for him to see you and to validate you and to love you or to choose you, you could be putting that into loving yourself more, right? One of my sisters, my spiritual sisters, on that very video that I was just talking about, she was in the live chat. She had made a good point, and one of my other spiritual sisters pointed out, she mentioned it. She was saying that I think her mom said this to her, that I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of, when you give too much to a man, or you do everything for him, he will learn to resent you. Why is that? Because naturally a man is the provider, right? Or they like the chase, they like the hunt, as they say, right? But naturally a man does not respect a woman that does not respect herself. So disrespecting yourself doesn't have to be you twerking somewhere naked in the club, or getting sloppy drunk, or sleeping with them on the first date or whatever. It doesn't have to be all of that. Just respecting yourself could be, if this man cheats on you multiple times and you keep taking him back, he knows you don't have any standards. He knows you don't love yourself, because you love him more. You rather have him in your life than saying, no, I'm not dealing with this, right? Or let's say this person says, I want to take you out on a date, but they cancel every time, right? And I've been through that, that specific thing. And what that is saying, like, every time you give them grace, and at some point I had to been like, dude, fuck you. Like, I'm not about to chase you, you know what I mean? But there were parts in the beginning where I was understanding, and I would let it slide, and I would try to reschedule. Like, no. That's blatant disrespect. That's wasting your time, right? So anytime that you're compromising and saying, like, wait, hold up, dude, like, nah, like, we're not doing this, that person sees that you don't value yourself, because you wouldn't let that type of stuff slide. Maybe once you'll be forgiving, be like, okay, maybe, all right. But at some point, you're like, nah, I can't. And this goes for any situation where you do this, whether it's a friendship, whether it's family, like anybody holds the capacity to walk on somebody if we allow them to do it. Or you could just be a shitty person, in my opinion, just to be walking all over people. But people will do that as long as you allow them, right? So whoever this message is for, or maybe this is a loved one of yours that's going through this, it really boils down to loving yourself, but also you have to hold that person accountable. If you really love them, a mother is not going to let their kids slip up in life because they love them, right? A mother is going to steer their child in the right direction. They're going to, what's the right word? Not punish them. That's not the right word. Oh my gosh, hold them accountable and responsible for their actions, right? So when you love a person, when you see something that is detrimental to them or that's not healthy for them, you're going to call it out. Not coddle it, not sweep it under the rug, not okay it, yes man, yes woman it, you know what I mean? So if there's someone in your life that, you're compromising your self-worth, because that's really what it is. And I find sometimes that, like, this is not an easy message to digest. I understand. And when I say, like, love yourself, it doesn't mean that you hate yourself or you have no self-esteem per se. And maybe in some instances, maybe you do have to work on that. And this isn't to demean you. This is coming from a place of love, because I don't understand why people register telling people things that, or saying things like, something that's out of order or something that's unhealthy, and shedding light upon it means that you're trying to, like, hurt their feelings. I feel like it's delivery. Yes, it could be part of that. But if it's coming from a place of do better because I care about you, or do better because this is the results of that, you know what I mean? That's different than saying you don't love yourself, you ain't worth shit, you're never. That's different. That's a different delivery. That's when you should be like, like, really? Like, excuse me? Like, but we could all stand to probably appreciate ourselves more. And that's a part of the self journey with yourself. You learn to appreciate yourself more. You learn to appreciate yourself in different ways and how to celebrate yourself. I'm not talking about false self-confidence where you got to go around, I'm a queen, I'm a goddess, and I'm the best, and everybody's jealous of me. Like, that's fake confidence. Or I'm the baddest, and that's fake. That's performative confidence. Confidence is more of an internal thing where you understand yourself. Yes. Amber says, unconditionally love from a distance enough for growth, assistance if needed with enough space still for growth. Yeah. It's not saying to just let somebody fall and trip on their own, but sometimes we can't be fully active in a person's journey of their self-discovery. You can't do that. And men don't want a woman that's going to mommy them and baby them. Some of them do, but in essence, they really don't like that. Men that don't like to take accountability, maybe they like that type of woman, but they really don't desire that type of woman. You know what I mean? So they don't respect that either. No one respects someone that doesn't value themselves naturally. Naturally. I wasn't ready to hear when my family was telling me to leave a particular relationship that I was really miserable in. But because I was short-sighted, I wanted to keep that situation going for multiple reasons. I wasn't ready to leave. I couldn't see what they were seeing fully, that this ain't it. until it got to the point where I'm like, I can't do this. To where I started to say to myself, I deserve better than this. That's when that broke off. So everybody has their time. Sometimes certain messages, certain things our family or friends will tell us, it'll go over our heads because we're not in the space or the capacity to hear it. Yeah, art friend, same thing. I've had clients say, girl, I had a whole client that didn't pay me my money for the reading. Like she finessed it so well. And this was in the beginning where I was nice. And I feel like a lot of my subscribers that were on my channel, they were used to that doormat side of Chenoa. They were used to that. They like that. They don't this Chenoa, nah, they don't like it. You're doing too much. You're in your ego. Like, child, like, yeah, we all hold the capacity to be in our ego, but I have to check myself before I come on here. I can't just be saying stuff because I know, like, the internet's forever. But I've probably went off before on a tangent, but with readings, I really try to separate myself. But I know that when I get in that space where I'm not fearful of speaking, or where I'm not thinking, oh, okay, I don't want to, ooh, don't let me do this. Okay, let me be nice, girl. But when I take that stupid filter off of fear, I speak. So some people don't like that. That's okay. Like, because I know my intentions. My intentions is not to hurt anybody. That's not, so if that's not the intention in my heart, it's not going to come out in that way. But you could register it that way because it's like it's not your type of delivery, and that's cool. That's fine. I understand. Yeah, learning to say no is key. It is. That is one of the best self-love words you could ever say is no and mean it, and yes and mean it. You know? But if you have a friend or a loved one that's in a situation with a man that you could clearly see doesn't love them, or an abusive partner that or they're chasing after someone, or they're in a situationship, or whatever the case may be, and you see that they are, they're not getting the best of what they deserve, they're settling, or they're playing themselves, send that person your love. If you feel led to, encourage them, then yes, but you don't want to continue to press that message on them, because this is the thing. Sometimes you have to set a message, leave it where it's at, and if that person is ready for it, if it's formed, they'll accept it, and if not, they won't, or they're just not ready to hear it. It's okay. One of my spiritual sisters, it was funny because I gave her a reading. I can't remember how long ago this was. But this was before we actually became friends. So she had gotten a reading from me, and I had said some things that she didn't want to hear, but I didn't know because I didn't get feedback from her. But I don't always get feedback when I do readings. Not every time is someone going to let me know that resonated, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't think anything of it. So fast forward, she reaches out to me in a message or in a DM, and she's apologizing to me, and I'm like, what would happen? Like, I have no clue that she said I was mad at you, and I have no idea. So I know sometimes, like, this is how it goes, you guys. When I sit down and do a reading, whether it's a live reading, like a personal live reading that someone paid for or whatever, or if it's like a private reading, I pray, ask God to give me the truth and the clarity for this person, separate me from the reading, so on and so forth. I deliver the message as it comes to me, and I leave it alone. Sometimes I'll be like, dang, I really hated that I had to say some of these things in the reading. Like when I have to deliver those harsh messages, sometimes I'm like, dang, I really hate that I had to say that. But I leave it where it's at. I'm like, okay, it is what it is. I have to honor it, send it, leave it alone. So you never know how that person is processing it from the other end, right? Unless they tell you. But in this instance, my friend that had gotten a reading from me before we became friends, she messaged me. She's like, I have to apologize to you because I was so mad at you. And, God corrected me and sat me down in the reading. You were right about what you said about the situation, blah, blah, blah. So, like, I don't be knowing, right? I don't be knowing if people be mad at me, hating me. Like, I've had somebody message me all upset about some guy and, oh, you said this and blah, blah. But this is the thing. Like, I can't do nothing about that. I'm the messenger. Not saying that I'm right 100% of the time or everything comes to pass, because as you guys know, I don't like sitting here doing predictions all the time. Like, I don't believe the tarot is used solely for us to predict our future. It's a journey through the soul. It's a spiritual tool into the spirit realm, the unseen realm. It's not an 8-ball machine. You know what I mean? So when I, tell people that, kind of leave it open to spirit. This is the possibility of that, and you have to keep in mind if other people are involved, their free will is involved. I can't control that. I'm not God. I can't see everything. You know what I mean? But it's not fun, y'all. Sometimes, like, I love helping people. I love, channeling for spirit. I love communicating with spirit and the spirit realm and things like that. But sometimes it's not fun because it's not always going to be a message of twin flames and this is the blessings that's coming into your life and you're going to be famous and everybody's jealous of you and you're the queen bee, you're the main character. Like, when you're not delivering those messages that the ego wants to hear, or, you know, the quote unquote mainstream message, tarot message or tarot reader formula, like, I gotta be okay with not being the majority. Like, that's okay. I'll be in the minority. That's fine. That's cool, I guess. But long story short, if you love anybody, period, if you love them, you hold them accountable. And what I mean by holding them accountable is like you don't, it's like where you see somebody about to cross the street and possibly get hit by a car. You're going to be like, hey, what you doing? Like, learn how to cross the street because you care about their well-being. You're not doing it to be like, I'm going to tell the police that you're crossing the street. You know what I mean? Like, that's not holding people accountable. That's just being an asshole. You know what I mean? So accountability is you care about the well-being of the other person to let them know that what they're doing is not of their highest good, not from a place of judgment, but just common sense, right? If you know a man is disrespecting you, or a lover, whatever, anyone is disrespecting you, they're not showing up. You know what? We've been dating for this long. I want a relationship. What's up with you? Like, what are we doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take that long for someone to decide whether they want to be with you or not. And sometimes people don't have the courage to say, I don't think I'm ready for a relationship, or I'm not interested in you, or I don't feel like I'm good enough for you. Some people don't know how to express that. So they'll do things that are, coming from a immature place, or just a lack of emotional maturity, or they don't know how to communicate their feelings or communicate really at all to tell you those things, right? But you got to use your own emotional intelligence and read the room and be like, okay, I can make this decision to be like, okay, I'll be with this person, and or I'm just not settling for this, or this person's going to have to give me a clear answer about what they want to do, or it's over. Not fun though, right? No, it's not, because we're afraid of the answer. We're afraid of the outcome of that. We're afraid of that. What's on the other side of that? Accountability, right? So when I say that the male collective has to evolve and rise to the occasion, because there's a lot of women stepping in, honoring themselves and loving themselves and breaking those chains of, oppression. And unfortunately, there's women that are partaking in this oppression of women, because they validate men so much. They uphold the patriarch so much, right? Where they don't have that balance. So if you're comfortable with the fact that women are oppressed, or certain things going on with the women and the female collective, you're a part of the problem. So until it gets to a place where we can coexist together in our powers individually, then we can't stand together. We can't. And unfortunately, there is I'm not saying all, but there is a toxic masculine collective that's strong and that's heavy, that wants to oppress the females. They don't want them to see themselves. And you guys have been hoodwinked, the ones of the few of you, or however many women. I'm not speaking specifically on anyone here. If it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply. But I'm just, collectively of women that uphold that toxic masculinity, um, you know, carrying that for them in the oppression, because they don't believe that they're worthy enough to be upheld to a high standard, then something's wrong. Like, there's a lack of, you don't really, you don't honor yourself. If you're okay with that, you don't love men that much to the point where you're saying to yourself, okay, women's rights don't matter, or women being able to be in an equal space with men and not looked upon as servants and sex toys and just slaves to the household, or they shouldn't have a voice, or they shouldn't say, I birthed people. Like, that's a flex. It is. Like, come on. Like, that's something to celebrate. It's beautiful. It should be celebrated. Or to honor those that have given birth, or brought us here. That's something powerful, to be able to do that. And it's no shame to anyone that may not be able to birth children. The fact that you have a womb is powerful within itself, because it's a portal. Period. So I don't understand the problem with that, for women to also rise, where it's not just the men rising and stepping on the foots of women, because there are men out there that understand the power of both energies. And I said that in that reading, because I got a comment from someone saying that, oh, it's about unity. I never said it wasn't. If that reading, if y'all watch that through and through, I said that multiple times throughout the reading, because that's what spirit kept reiterating for me to say. So I understand there is no balance in the universe without masculine and feminine energy, light versus dark energy, so on and so forth, polar opposites. But yeah, I've said this a lot. Like, I think I've said this like for years or so, that there's a gender war going on, and that's set strategically to cause discord. I know I said that. I don't like when people try to twist my words or try to play me for stupid. Like, I know what I said, but I'm gonna play nice. Um, but yes, divine union is beautiful, but I'm not gonna like sugarcoat and coddle people, or men or women that are part of the problem in the discord, and having women believe that they're not good enough, or that they're just meant to be servants, and that their voice doesn't matter, and that they're not just as powerful. I'm not going to play that role. It's not happening. You can love yourself and still love a man. You know that, right? It doesn't have to be you love this man more than you love yourself. That's not the way to go. It's not the way to go. That's not real love. Loving somebody more than you love yourself is not love. Unless it's your children, that's different. You live for them. You brought them here. They're precious. You know, you're bringing them up in the world. That's different. But a grown ass human being, no. Mm-mm. It's not selfish either. So if you love him, hold him accountable. That's pretty much what the message was. But you know, sometimes, you know, it's not as simplified, my messages. Sometimes it's like all this extra stuff that comes along with it. It's just to get to the point. But yeah, I need to take my ass to sleep. I can't really sleep though. I've been up and like I said, I had to make my greens overnight because I don't want to wake up early in the morning and start. I'm not doing that. So I set aside the rest of the night to cook these collards, put them up for dinner tomorrow, and then let that be that. But uh, yeah. I hope that was helpful. Yes, we love a good collard greens. Yes. Actually, collards and mustards. So I don't know about y'all. Anybody that's familiar with greens, either whether you cook them or you just enjoy eating them. Yeah. So there's mustards and collards in there. I don't do turnips. I don't know if anybody else does that. I know some people like to do kale as well. I've never tried that before, so I don't know what that tastes like. Not familiar with that. But my cooking is not complete, so I'm gonna make my mac and cheese tomorrow, and then everybody else, they have their own dish that they're bringing, because family's coming over here tomorrow. So yeah, the smaller leaves, hmm, they're sweeter. I never knew that, because not everybody does this probably, but when we make greens, sometimes we put a little bit of sugar in there, just a tinge of it, like as you're cooking it, of course. I'm not a fan of like sweet collard greens though, because I've seen people kind of like put too much sugar in it, and I've also tasted it. Um, Tasted people's collards where they were too sweet or too vinegary. I'm not a fan of that either. I'm more of a like spice with mine. I like a little bit of spice, a little bit of kick. Oh, you put them, you freeze them, and then it brings them to sweetness. I didn't know that. Hey, Christina. Yeah, I don't like sweet greens like that, nor vinegary tasting greens. I'm not a fan. But I have to also keep in mind, like, my spice level is way more like a high tolerance than some people. So I'll be like thinking, like, this is mild spice, and people like, oh my God, you put some pepper. Like, girl, I love Creole seasoning so much. Like, Creole seasoning goes on to everything, even Asian food or Mexican food. I have to have Creole food or Creole seasoning on my food. Like, it's just a standard. That's a standard for me. So sometimes I might go just a little bit overboard. So I gotta do like a taste test and be like, how does this taste? Is it too spicy? Because my taste buds or my spice level is not the same as everybody else in my household. They be like, this is too spicy. I'm like, okay, well, that's good. You don't need hot sauce. But yeah. Has anybody had turnip greens before? Or I've never tried them. Not to my knowledge, I've never tried them. Or kale greens. I've never had kale greens because kale has a very distinctive taste to it. I've never had kale greens before. Um, Outside of, like, of course, salad and stuff, but like cooked like collard greens, I've never had it like that. Um, mm, Trying to think what's another form. I seen some today. What was it? Dandelion greens. They're stronger. Hmm. Cause mustard greens, they're kind of like they kind of have a similar texture to kale, but not quite like the little like curly type. I don't know why I call it curly, but yeah, a bitter taste. I might have to try it. I'm gonna try it one time. Probably just by itself. Not I don't know. I'll probably try it one day. Cause I've heard of turnip greens, but I don't think I've ever had any. Yeah. Hmm. Sounds good. Yeah. It is pretty flavorful. Like the kind of like I like the bitterness of greens. Like they have to be like the perfect between like spicy a little bit, like a little bit of a kick, a tad bit of sweetness. Cuz I do put apple cider vinegar in my greens okay, this is how I do it. So, I wash my greens first with apple cider vinegar or vinegar, just kind of let it to take off some of the dirt and let it sit. But I also put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in my greens as well, just a little bit, like a teaspoon or so, just a tad, not a lot. Do you guys use vinegar? Because um, I've seen people make like vinegar type of sauce to put on top of their greens, like when they put them in the bowl. But I don't think I would be into all of that. I don't think so. I don't know if that sounds a little too a little too bitter for my taste. I don't know. Cause greens already got that little, that little kick, that little aftertaste of bitterness, but not too much. It's got a little tinge of it. Okay. Yeah. And on white cabbage. Hmm. Never tried it on cabbage before. Hmm. Well, I'm interested. I like to hear people make their stuff because everybody does a little bit of something. You know what I mean? So that's interesting. I've never thought or to put vinegar on my cabbage. It's interesting. Cabbage has it has kind of mm, I would say like they're sweet. Like cabbages have like a sweet taste to me, or it depends on what type of cabbage, because red cabbage is kind of bitter, but regular cabbage has a little bit of a sweetness to me. It's good. Mm. The vinegar, like sauce, or the vinegar in the cabbage. Y'all got me hungry. I don't need to be eating. I'm just excited to eat. I was gonna cook greens, yams, and macaroni because my daughter likes yams. But because my mom is making the macaroni, not the macaroni, the potato salad, it's too much starch, so we had to compromise a little bit. But other than that, like I was looking forward to the yams. Like we can have both. Like why can't we have both? No, it's a lot of starch, but hey, come on, it's a holiday. But yeah, I love me some potato salad though. I love potato salad. for what it's worth. But yeah, what y'all cooking tomorrow? I'm trying to try not to think about eating, but what y'all eating tomorrow? Cause I know like some people like on Easter, we don't celebrate Easter like that anymore. Like where we used to go to church and do the Easter egg hunts. Like the girls, like my daughter and my sister, they're too old for that. They're not into it, so we don't have to worry about that as far as like the Easter egg hunts. But like cooking, I just be taking advantage of the holidays just to eat. Like that's really the point of the holidays for me. Like I don't care about no Christmas gifts and all that other shit. Like I'm down for a good drink and some good food. That's all I know. And some good, company. But other than that, I'm cool. But yeah, what y'all cooking? If you guys are cooking anything or if you're going out to dinner, because sometimes people go out to eat someplace good. Shoot, a good buffet too. Sometimes, like back in the day after church, a good buffet. Oh my God. I don't know where y'all at in the world, but some of the buffets back then were so good. But nowadays, it's like they be playing. Like that food tastes like microwavable food sometimes, depending on where you go. I'm not a big fan of buffets like that. It's kind of, it don't do it for me. I don't do them golden corrals. I don't like them type of like. It's kind of mid, but low key though. Low key, casinos have good buffets sometimes. Like you could find something good there, but other than that, I don't feel like buffets are the same as they used to be. Because I remember as a kid, like after church, we would go to, if we didn't cook Sunday dinner at my grandma's house, we would go to a buffet and be satisfied. Because, they got the desserts, little dessert sections, and all of that. So you get everything that you need, a whole meal. But it's really nothing like home cooked food, though. It's no comparison. No comparison. Unless you go to like a restaurant where people cook the food from the heart. You could tell. Like, you could tell when you go to like a restaurant where the people actually really cook the food. It's not like all this, what do you call it? Pre, like frozen food and that they warm up. They actually cook it. And you could tell it's cooked from the heart because it's just right. It's just seasoned right. You could tell. Like, but buffets, they don't have that quality. Not anymore. They don't. Like I want somebody that know how to cook, make this food. I don't want no frozen fish fillets and frozen enchiladas and oh God. Yeah. I don't want to talk my y'all ears off too much. I really should be sleeping. It's almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Goodness gracious. It is 3:42 here. I need to take my assets to sleep. But I can't. Like, my sleeping schedule is weird. No matter how early I go to sleep, with the exception of tonight, when I go to bed early, I'm always up like clockwork around like 12 a.m. or so. And I just be up. But you know what they say? It's something that you're supposed to be doing at that hour, meditating, praying, writing something, or there's some communication. You just gotta figure out who's trying to talk to me. If it's, hey, now I ain't answering no calls from just anybody now. But yeah, these are the perfect hours where it's like You could sit with yourself because it's quiet, like just super, super quiet. If you have a household full of people or whatever, but it's quiet. The world is quiet. And you could sit with yourself, hear your thoughts. Because I just be like, why am I up at 12 o'clock in the morning? Like clockwork. Sometimes I could sleep like a baby and wake up early in the morning. And some days I'm just up at wee hours of the morning. Yeah, but I believe like when that happens, we supposed to be sitting quiet and listening. Like, tuning into spirit. Our spiritual team. 'Cause it's usually a message. Otherwise, it may come in a dream. But yeah, if you guys have a journal and you wake up in the middle of the night, just sit with yourself and see what happens. If you can't go back to sleep, at least. But, anywho, I hope you guys enjoy today. You guys enjoy your holiday if you celebrate it, even if not, just, enjoy yourself. If you're off from work, celebrate that. If you don't have any school right now, celebrate that. Some people are at spring break, I think. My daughter's spring break was 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So some schools are just now going on spring break or probably just now getting off of it. I don't know. But yeah. All right, no more ranting. I wanted to switch things up to a lighter mood because I know sometimes if you feel like this half is always drilling, shut up. Shut up and tell me my future. I'm just like, oh no. No, for real. No, I'm going to tell you everything is going to be all right. But before we do that, you got to do the work, sis, okay? That's what we here for. But, yeah. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining. I don't know why some of y'all up. What time is it where y'all are? If you're on the East Coast, it's probably close to, 6 a.m., 7 a.m.? Some of you guys, it's probably 5 a.m.? Or completely daytime where you are if you're outside of the U.S. It's 6:50 in Virginia. Yep. It's 3:40 here. 4 p.m. where you are. 4 p.m. Dang, it's a whole day. Whole Sunday. Happy Sunday to you. Your day is almost halfway over. 6:47 where you're at. Yeah. So it's not completely strange for you that I'm on live because it's like it's afternoon where you're at. But us over here, it's like, why is this half a up? And if you're Pacific Standard Time, it's like, bitch, you're up at like 3 o'clock in the morning talking about this. But I'm telling y'all, like, Spirit be having me up. And let me be transparent. I recorded this message 2 times on my phone and something told me like, Chenoa, stop, like shut up. Not like that, but just like stop and go live because people need to hear it now. So whoever needed to hear it, I hope I was a help, like, or if it's a loved one of yours, like I hope it was still helpful to you in some way. But yeah, I tried to do that on my phone twice and it was like, you know how you write something on your journal, like you're writing something, and then you're like, no, that sounds stupid, and you scratch it. It's kind of like that, but it wasn't meant for me because it's just like, like no, like you need to interact. and connect. So yeah, it might be a little bit weird for people in the Pacific Standard Time if they're not up to be like, this bitch, this notification. But knowing YouTube, they don't be sending my notifications out sometimes, or if they do, it's like way after the fact. I just YouTube mishandling my channel. Yeah, I be up. I'm telling you, I be up like child. The world could be completely asleep, and my ass will be up, along with some other people. I'm sure that be up this late. Like we just be up. But cause I tell you, like I go to sleep like a kindergartner. Like a kindergartner's bedtime, I go to sleep at a decent time now. But I wake up at 12 a.m. like clockwork. It never fails. It's like 11 something sometimes, or like 12 in the middle of like 12 something. I'm just up. Like, why am I up on that night shift? Are you on a night shift? That's a whole nother story. Like, night shifts, you just be up. You know what I mean? Like, some people are good with that. I think that I would be able to do that. Like, just be up at night shift. I don't mind early morning sometimes. Like, I have all this energy in the morning. Like, I just be up. Like, somebody put some crack in my coffee or something. But there's sometimes I'm just like, oh, I gotta get. Because my ass be up to like 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm like, I gotta get up in the morning. Like, you know, what you doing? Like, what are you doing? But yeah, no. I love the nighttime too. But I love the daytime, but it's like night. I feel for the simple fact that it's quieter at night because people are asleep. So there's nobody up and walking around. So I could sit in my room and I could, you know, pray. I can cry. I can just, be weird and hear spirit and not be like hearing people interrupting and talking in the background and doing this and doing that. Like it's completely quiet. So it helps to like stay concentrated and sit. I feel like the best times to meditate really is in the wee hours of the morning. I wouldn't suggest this per se, but it might be an idea. Not fans. I ain't got no fans. But I do have some supporters amongst probably those that can't stand my ass. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I wouldn't encourage this per se, but if it works for you, then try it. If you're not somebody that meditates before bed or meditates before morning, some people are really good at that routine. But if you're not able to do that, I would say like if you could set your alarm clock to wake you up in the middle of the night just for that time, just to, cause you know what's really dope, and we take this for granted. Some, not everybody, but sometimes we can take this for granted where that moment right before you're about to go to sleep, or when you feel like you're still in between sleep and wake, those are the perfect times to like visualize, to meditate or pray, because it's like you're almost like you're in between worlds, literally. Like you're in between the physical realm, like you're still aware that you're like asleep or you're waking up or you're about to fall asleep, and like going into that other space where you're almost not fully coherent that you're going to, you know what I mean? That's like the perfect time. And sometimes like this doesn't happen all the time to me, but sometimes I'll get messages when I'm in those spaces. Like I'll get downloads in that space. The only shitty part about that is that it will propel me to like get out my phone and write it down in my notes, or literally write it down, but I don't always have a pen and paper next to me to do that. So my phone is like easy access, but other than that, if you can remember that, then hey, you got a wonderful brain if you can sit there and remember that. But because sometimes it's like it could float, like it could just come and it can go just as quick if you're not like you don't catch it. be like, oh shit, what was that the spirit said? Cause I be shoot. This is just very interesting. I'm telling you, like my nights are very interesting because sometimes I'll hear beats in my head, like music, like songs that don't even exist. Like I don't know why I ain't a music producer because like if I knew how to play with a fucking machine, like I could be the next Missy Elliott. I'm just like, but no, sometimes I'll hear beats in my head, like literally like songs in my head that don't even exist. Like, so it's a lot that you can do in that space. It's weird. In between the little two worlds, like creative land, limitless land, literally. So at night, late at night, literally. So, let me take my ass on the bed. And to be real with y'all, I ain't even sleepy no more. I was yawning at first because I think my body is trying to tell me, Chenoa, it's 3:55. Take your ass to sleep. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Over here, we good. I don't know why I'm still up, but I'm not sleepy. Um, so I'm gonna get off for real this time. I'm gonna get off because we've been on here for like an hour. I don't want to mislead anyone. This is not a reading, okay? Probably have to update the title or something. Let it be known. It's not a reading. There is a little bit of a rant, a disclaimer, blah, 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 blah. You can sit through it. I appreciate it. If not, still appreciate you for clicking on here. As long as you could. As long as you can hang, I appreciate you. But anywho. Oh, goodness. I will catch you guys soon. I appreciate you guys for hanging with me. Good day wherever you guys are. Good evening. Good morning. Happy Easter Sunday or whatever you want to call it. Resurrection Sunday. Sunday, solar day, whatever. It's all good. Whatever you want to call it. Or it could just be a simple day. Just be a simple, lovely day. So I send you guys much love. And I'll catch you guys when I see you.